what's going on, guys? Shaun of the Dead here. I just watched a show. It was on the History Channel. I'm not sure when it originally aired. I kind of just caught it later. And it was Zombies: The Living Truth. And it had like 5 different authors on there. It had this pretty cute chick from Fangora. And it had a quote-unquote weapons expert on there. And it had 3 different authors or so that I never heard of. It had Jay Bourne that does the Day by Day Armageddon series, which I was a real big fan of the first 2 books. This is the 3rd book, and I've had it for months. And you can see I still have a little bit left. This book has been a beating to get through. I just cannot seem to get through it. It had Max Brooks in there, and we all know how I feel about Max Brooks. They had people talking about their different takes on things. I'm going to try to go through it as quickly as possible. Excuse me, I'm just getting over feeling rough, so please bear with me. I'll start off with one of the things Jay Bourne was talking about, bugging in versus bugging out, and he believes that you bug in first. He's like, no, you don't bug out, you bug in. And then whenever you absolutely have to leave because you're out of supplies, then that's when you bug out. I'm obviously way against that. I get the hell out of Dodge guy, like Johnny on the spot. If I can't leave because it's just too dangerous to go outside, then I'll wait until it's lightened up enough that I can go. Just like you sit in your car when a rainstorm, pouring down, it slacks up, you run, and the next thing you know it's pouring down again. That's how it's going to be with a zombie attack. When it slacks up, you better move right now, because if not, it's going to get heavy again. Because you do not want to be in a heavily populated city in a zombie situation whenever there's freaking herds of them just kind of rambling about all over the place. Your little fortification that he tells you to get, plywood and stuff to put over your windows, is just not going to hold. It's not going to stop a horde of zombies from breaking in your house. And then, of course, Max Brooks says he would prefer a machete. Okay, I'll give him that, because he actually said that he would prefer a machete over a sword, so I appreciate that. I will give him that one bonus. I try to shoot straight. Whether one of my personal likes or dislikes of an individual are, I still I still try to give credit where credit's due, or whatever. He did pick a machete over a sword. He said because a samurai sword you need to be trained. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better about Max Brooks on that one particular aspect. But he still comes from the school of thought of, you need a melee weapon because your guns are going to run out of ammo. And that's one of the things they kind of kept harping on, as they were talking about, there's just this overwhelming number of zombies, they just never stop coming. I'm like, yes they do. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I live in the great state of Texas, and in Texas I believe it's 8-to-1 percentage of firearms versus people. So the average person in Texas, I think it is, could own, there's 8 firearms for every 1 person in the state of Texas. That's the statistic. Not that everyone owns them, so if you take people like myself that have more than one, and you take other people that only have one, and you divide that up, and everyone has 1 to 3 on average. I know, and down the middle would be 4, but on average, a person is going to have a handgun, a hunting rifle, or a rifle of some sort, and then a shotgun for shooting trap or hunting also. And then they have their handgun for home defense, generally. So your average person is going to have those 3 guns. Usually if you have those 3 guns, you usually have more, but those are usually the 3 basics that a person will have in their home. Is a handgun, some type of a rifle, and a shotgun. And then usually, besides having a hunting rifle, they'll have a .22 rifle as for a small game as well. So that's where you can maybe edge that up there to get that fourth gun. Um, so average person having, average gun over having between 1 to 4 guns max, um, on average, for an average. On the low end, people having none. On the high end, people having, you know, dozens. You know, um, just depending where you come from. And if you have even a even 50 rounds, even like if you're talking about handguns, they come in boxes of 50. Rifles usually come in boxes of 20. So if you have 20 rounds for your rifle, you have a 25 round box of birdshot for your shotgun, and you have a 50 round box of ammo for your handgun. So that's what, 75, 85. That's 95 rounds right there. That's almost 100 rounds for one person to have, and three from firearms. So if you're looking at almost 100 rounds per person, or at least per household, even say. So per household, there's a finite amount of zombies. So Texas could theoretically wipe out all the zombies in Texas and hold their borders down. And that's just simple math. Simple. So their thoughts on zombies are never going to stop. Yes, that's true, because you might live in an area in an apartment complex or something like I do, where there might be only 10 gun owners perhaps in this whole property. So these 10 gun owners, me and 9 others, are the only ones shooting zombies. Well, if they're one of those people that has a handgun because they wanted a self-defense firearm and they're just getting into it, and they have a concealed carry, excuse me, just getting over feeling bad, so still a little off, a little out of sorts. So they have their handgun, and they may have 50 to 100 rounds for it. They're going to run out of ammo pretty quick, and chances are they're going to be piss poor shots, so they're going to miss a lot. And if you're talking about a handgun and you're shooting at distances, you're not going to kill many zombies. So, that's whenever things are going to start to stack against you, plus you're drawing them with you by all your gunshots. And then somebody like myself, if I'm barricaded in properly and I don't have to worry about watching my back, I can sit on my balcony all day long and shoot. I can do that for days. I don't have to just go out there one day and shoot a few times and I'm like, okay, I'm out of ammo. I shot an hour, yay. No, I can go out there several days in a row and shoot pretty much from all my daylight hours and not have to worry about it, I mean, it wouldn't be like bang, 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 the whole time. It's like, take aim, okay, got you, bam, okay. Next one, take aim, okay, got you, bang. Just take your time and shoot. I could shoot all day, do it for days. I can wipe out every zombie in this generic area. So when it comes down to the meat and potatoes of things, I was like, okay, well, obviously bugging out, in my opinion, is better. Unless I have to bug in and wait for that break. And then, of course, they had this guy. He was talking about different things. He was like, "Oh, there's a sword." He goes, "It's a bad idea." He said, "Use a machete also." I'm like, okay, so there's people who are realizing, the worth of a machete. And then he finally got my attention when he came to a mace. I was like, "Now we're talking." A mace is where it's at. You just smash something. And he talked about an axe. He talked about a spear. He talked about using an e-tool, the shovel the military uses. He said, "Oh yeah, sometimes they'll sharpen the edges so they can slash with them and stab with them." And I'm like, "Not against zombies. That's a piss poor weapon. Have you ever played with an e-tool? Seriously, dude? No. No. Not for me. Not for this zombie killer. Not happening." So here's some of the things he was also doing was talking about hand-to-hand combat with a zombie, but all his mythos was on the very slow zombie. It wasn't the freaking fast zombie that slows down over time. So yeah, anybody can look like a ninja if the zombie is coming at you like this, really slow. You can take a stick and just kind of move their hands out of the way and sidestep them. It's nothing. Um, it wouldn't be a difficult situation at all. But if they're fast, now you're going to up the ante. He was talking about getting down to his hands and knees and grabbing them behind their ankles, using his shoulders, pushing on their shins, and flipping back on the ground. And on a couple occasions, he's like, yeah, and then you stomp them in the head to finish them off. You can run or you can finish them with a head stomp. I'm not going to head stomp a zombie. Too many years of martial arts here. I am not head stomping a zombie. I know there's just too many, too many issues that can potentially happen in that situation. The head rolls to the side. I twist my ankle. I break my ankle. I fall down. Now I'm laying with my leg across the zombie's face. So now it's going to bite my leg, and now I am going to be infected. Just not a good idea in general. And I'm not going to get down on the ground. I don't care if it's just one zombie. I'm still not going to get down on the ground where it's over the top of my back. What if I happen to fail in my little attempt? It's just not a good idea. Or what if I snap his knees backwards and now it just falls over my back and now it's starting to take chunks out of my back? No. And he was talking about doing like a check and then grab a throat and sweep it within and I'm like, no. Not putting my hands anywhere near the face. Not unless it's coming at me and it's absolutely necessary for me to put my hands there. Another thing he said is he was going to watch out for the hands. Well, I thought he was going to bring something up, but he didn't. I was like, ooh, you were so close. Watch out for the fingernails. People have issues with fingernails for HIV and infections. People are always like, I'm going to get infected with HIV if I get cut with a fingernail. That was like the big stink when we had the Dream Team basketball team thing. So people were concerned about, fingernails, getting cut and scratched with fingernails. Fingernails can, pass on disease, potentially the zombie virus. So claws and teeth, those are two things that might pass on the infection. So you do need to watch out for the hands because they may be, tools of infection also. So those are some of the basic things that I saw on there. That there was a lot of objectives. I'm just trying to hit some of the high points because I was just like, oh, you guys are irritating me. One of the things they brought on there is this so-called weapons expert. Now, there's a difference between being very, very well trained and being a great shooter, a great combatant, and a great soldier, and being a weapons guy. They're worlds apart, oddly enough. The dude was a good shot. He was pulling off some nice shots. He was like, I'm going to take my M4 AR-15 and, blah, 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 and he didn't mention any other weapons for his primary, combat rifle. He had an AR-15, and it looked like it to be a Browning. I didn't get a good look at it, for a 22 target pistol. Glock 19 is what it looked to be. It was a 9mm, and it was a Glock. And I believe it was the 19 because it looked like the compact. And he had a 870 shotgun. And I was like, okay, those are some solid choices, but what about other things? What about a Ruger 1022? How about looking at an AK-47? And he was talking about how the AR ammo and the 9mm ammo is probably going to be really, really hard to find. Now again, this might have been pre-Sandy Hook, so when he's talking about the 22, you can just go to your local hardware store and pick up 22 ammo. I was like, not anymore, you can't, bro. So I was like, no, you can't really do that now. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that this was aired before then, but that means you should understand that AR ammo, if I decide to go to every store I know that has AR ammo, I could be broke tomorrow and have a ton of AR ammo. There's more AR ammo out there that I could go pick up tomorrow than I can afford. I don't have enough money for it. Easily could get it. 9mm right now is still a little harder to get, but a lot of people. It's the Glock 17s, and now the Glock 19 has now made its big jump up into the game, and it's a 9mm, and most people are going to have a 9mm. It's been a popular round for decades. So, um, 9x19 Luger, man. I mean, it's just been around. So, even back in the '80s, all the gangsters was, I got my 9. You know, they had the Tech 9, they had the Uzis, you know, they had the Mac 10s, you know, they had all these different firearms, and primarily 9mm firearms. So, as you move through time, and of course it started back in World War II, the German Lugers. So, I mean, you have all these 9mm. So 9mm has been around for a while. It's a pretty prevalent firearm and caliber. So, and he was talking about how hard it's going to be to get a hold of, and I was like, no, you're wrong. And he was talking about the shotgun being good, which I'm a shotgunner. I'm good with that. But where's the AK, bro? Where's some of the other firearms? Where's my 10/22 at, bro? If you want to talk about the ease of getting 22 ammo and how effective it is, but it's not effective at longer ranges, well, why don't you get a rifle instead of a pistol? Then you have two firearms that shoot the same caliber of ammo. Oh wait, that would be a good idea. Yeah, they're so-called specialists. You know, people that you want to consult, it would be like a gunsmith. People that do competition shooting to the point where they do hand load reloads, so they can reload their own ammo for precision. They understand the velocity and ballistics of the firearm and what they can really do. And also, another one that you might not be thinking about is hunters. Not just your redneck hunter that grabs his deer rifle out of the back of the truck, goes and blows away Bambi and comes back home. I'm not talking about just that. Those guys are great, but there's a little bit more to it than that. I'm talking about people that go out and they're like, okay, well, frack, I'm going to go get me some moose. I'm going to go do that this year. Next year I'm going to go on safari. I'm going to go kill this. That guy understands firearms and probably has a plethora of firearms because he's going to have different calibers for different things that he fires. And depending on what region he is, he's going to have to be able to find the right ammo for it. So he's going to have a firearm that he can pick up the ammunition for the region that he's in. That's the proper caliber to fight the combat and kill the animal that he's trying to hunt. So those are some people that would be more apt on being gun guys, quote unquote. And of course there's a lot of gun nuts out there like myself that just like guns and they're into guns and they understand ballistics, they understand things like that. And I'm not downplaying that dude's skill because the dude was a very, very good shooter. He was smooth and crisp with his shots, but he obviously didn't have a very good base of understanding for multiple platforms. He was comfortable with a few platforms and that was it. Or at least that's the way they portrayed him on the show. The dude might be awesome at it, but for some reason they downplayed everything to just those 4 guns. I don't know. Another thing that they brought on there, and some of you out there may be a part of this, so this will be an interesting throw out there and see what I catch. They had Zombie Squad on there. Now, people were going to say, okay, well, what do you think about Zombie Squad? Well, I'll tell you what I think about Zombie Squad. I tried 3 times. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Did I try to contact Zombie Squad. I said, hey, I live in DFW. Is there a chapter here? If there's not a chapter here, how can I get, into your program, get your curriculum, and start a chapter here? Where is the nearest chapter to here? How do I become a part of Zombie Squad in general? These are questions I asked. Might not have been verbatim, but the same content was in each one of the emails, because I couldn't find like a contact here, and you had like an 800 number you can call and be like, "Hey, yo, this is Zombie Squad." There was no hard and fast way to get a hold of anybody. And I sent 3 emails, and I tried like 3 different emails I happened to find throughout the forums and stuff on the site. I'm like, I'm having to dig around to find some bullcrap just to join up with you guys. That doesn't make me too interested in joining up to your little band of merry men here. Um, if it's that difficult and you get 3 strikes and you're out kind of thing, I'm not going to beg you to be a part of your group. I mean, I've always been kind of the kind of guy. It's like, you know what? I didn't like what you guys were doing. My buddy's like, well, why don't you start your own? Okay, I will. Start my own, just fine, successful. Um, I, I'm able to. I've always been able to do that. If I don't like something and somebody's got some kind of a thing set up, I can go out and start my own and be happier for it. For one, I won't have to worry about the bureaucracy because I started it. Uh, for two, it's in the manner that I'm looking for because it's mine, um, and I can let the people in that I feel comfortable with. So that's all in all. You know, I've got a good inner circle right now. I haven't pursued starting anything currently because I hadn't felt the need to at this point. But I wouldn't mind hanging out with more like-minded individuals. I've grown my group a little bit, but and I do that every so often. Add a few more people to the mix. Um, but yeah, I tried 3 different times, and I figured, well, if they're not looking for members, and to become a member is that difficult, then maybe I don't want to become a member because that might be too difficult to maintain. I understand they're primarily in St. Louis, Missouri, but yo, dude, I mean, I live in fracking DFW, pretty good sized town. It's Texas. It's gun lovers' paradise, yo. How about putting a little bit of that zombie love on down here and doing what's up? But you know what? You don't. I will at some point whenever I decide to. That's fine. If you don't do it, I will. Um, so that was it, kind of in a nutshell. All in all, I mean, it was an interesting show. They talked a lot about history of zombies and where the mythos came from and stuff. And I'm not big into that, so it kind of was like, all right, well, that's like a boring like hour. It's like, oh, come on, can we get to the fracking good stuff here? And we got to the quote unquote good stuff, and they're like, oh, society's going to break down, fracking kidding. And they're like, oh, the psychological effects and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, that's part of what I trained for. Thanks. People don't really understand whenever I say that I will be excited in a zombie attack, that I would like for it to happen. I really mean that I would like to live in a zombie attack situation. I really would. Not a joke, not me making fun, not me spinning a yarn, but I would like to live in a zombie apocalypse. I would like it. It would be very comforting to me to know that my particular skill set would be useful to help and be conducive to the environment that I'm in, and I can help people in a proper manner with the type of individual that I am. Versus the way that this commercialized society we have, where it's all service industry bullcrap. I can actually provide something real for somebody. I can provide them protection. I can provide them food by hunting. I mean, I can provide them something. I can provide them water because I know how to purify water. And I know different ways to look for water in certain environments. It's like, look, I have some skills that will assist people in survival. And in our modern society, we really don't need those skills. And that's kind of sad. And for one, I've always just been curious on how I would fare. Of course, we all think we're going to do great. And I am Shaun of the Dead, so I mean that gives me a Shaun of the Dead bonus. But in all realism, I mean, I want to know how well I would fare in a zombie apocalypse. Again, I don't believe I'm Rambo, so I'm not going to go out there freaking, solo going woo, fracking rock and roll. Let's see what we can do. No, not happening. Not even in the slightest little bit am I going to go out there running around like an idiot being Rambo. Not happening. As I accumulate more people into my party, and our society grows, then we'll be moving towards a structured society. They were talking about who's going to be important in society, and they were talking about electricians and communications officers. um, in part with, doctors and farmers and stuff like that. And I'm like, you need four things. Four things. You need a doctor, yes. You need a construction person that can build you a house, build you a wall, take care of your fortification needs. You're going to need someone that can farm and take care of your food needs and your necessities, ranching, husbandry of animals, and you're going to need a security force that protects all of that from some marauder groups and zombies that are trying to stop your way of life. Everything else is an amenity. It would be nice to have power. I would prefer to have power, but that's a little lower on the priority list than having shelter, having food, water, and security. Those are the things that I would rather have. Power comes later. Communication comes later. Those things come after I'm in a situation of supreme power, where I have got a great fortification and I have some heavy artillery, so that way if marauders come and we've invited bad guys to our doorstep, we have a way of repelling them away from us. And as good people start to trickle in, we have enough of a security force that police the area enough that bad things don't happen to good people in the town because new people are here. So they were talking about some stuff like that. So there's some disagreements on some of their ideas of what's important. The top four things are obviously what I just mentioned. Outside of that, then you can start to get into other things. So that was my basic gist of the History Channel's zombie in Truth and Life and the Life, or whatever it was called. Let me see if I can pull it up. It is Zombies, the Living Story. Okay, Zombies, the Living Story. It was okay. I mean, if you want to burn a few hours of your life, feel free to go ahead and watch it. Again, it had people in there that have very different viewpoints than myself. And overall, they have a lot of history crap, which was kind of quasi could barely be tied into the zombie apocalypse. But all in all, it was something to do. It was interesting overall. And if you're into all kinds of different zombies, you'll like the history of it. So yeah, give it a whirl and check it out and see what you think. As always, stay on topic and be friendly. Be polite to each other, be respectful. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up, and as always, subscribe. Okay, quick PS on the whole History Channel. As I was talking to you, I had not posted it yet, so I'm going to add this onto the tail end of it. I said I could probably go out and easily find more ammo than I could afford. So I did a couple of quick videos, and this is just an Academy, one store. After I left Academy, I went to Walmart and I picked up some shotgun shells at Walmart. Picked up some of the, here we go. Get the glare off of it, there we go. The PDX-1 12 gauge defensive rounds. That's the one with the buckshot and the slug, obviously from the picture. So I picked up a little bit of those. I was like, okay, well, we can pick up some of those. So I was going to check them out. Heard a lot about them, so I figured I'd pick up a few boxes. Just kind of see how it went. See what I thought about them overall as defensive ammo and all that. So I have a few boxes of those. So we'll see how that rolls. But while I was out, I did find, not only did I find 223/5.56, both, I found a frackin' ton of 9mm. I even found at Academy And as a matter of fact, I actually picked up some ammo while I was out. That guy was saying you can't find AR ammo. Well, I picked up just a couple boxes of soft points because my range that I go to locally only allows soft points and hollow points on the rifle range. And I picked up a few boxes of AK ammo that are hollow points. So I did that on purpose. So that way I could actually go to my range and shoot. And then might help if it was right side up, soft point. And then they even had, and I'm completely blocking myself in with ammo, and they even had some Subsonic 22 long rifle. Now you may ask, why the hell did I buy Subsonic 22 long rifle ammo? Well, I'll tell you why I bought Subsonic. There is a reason. A very, very good reason why I bought such ammo. Do it like that so you can see it. The reason I did it is very simple. I have a Ruger 1022 that you all, I'm sure, are very aware of this, and I'm a fanboy of such. And it's a fairly quiet firearm anyway. You can fire it most of the time without hearing protection, unless you're using higher velocity mags like the Mini Mags or something, and sometimes it's a little louder. But all in all, you can handle it pretty easy without any real ear protection. Now, with a makeshift homemade silencer, I will not disclose on how to make a homemade silencer because it is not a zombie apocalypse, so there is no need to have such a thing unless you have the license to go buy a real one. But a person could make, if they were so inclined, a homemade silencer out of just household products that will help mitigate some of the sound. Now, the thing about silencers is they're not to make your firearm silent. They are to suppress some of the report. Now, whenever as some of you may or may not know, whenever the bullet is fired, it breaks the sound barrier, so obviously there's going to be a crack. Well, these are subsonic rounds, so this means that these do not go supersonic. So, with a homemade silencer and a long arm versus a pistol, if I use these in my handgun, it would still be louder than if I used them in my rifle. Bad thing about subsonic rounds is since they have a lower powder load, they're a little bit rougher on the blowback. They don't have enough power to usually cycle your firearm, so they're usually best for like revolvers or if you're going to use a single shot rifle or something to that effect. But I don't mind cycling my rounds myself if I'm trying to keep things quiet, because if there's zombies outside and I'm trying to keep quiet, I can use a subsonic round. I can use a homemade silencer over the end of my rifle, and I can pop, a couple of hundred zombies, because these are 100 rounds. I can shoot 200 zombies, kill 200 zombies in my generic area, and that's going to be a chunk out of the area without making that much noise. So I picked up some subsonic rounds purely for to keep down the sound by utilizing the ability to make a homemade silencer. You can easily look it up online. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube if you were so inclined to look it up. And you can probably see it in most TV shows and movies and such. They always use homemade silencers. You can use one of those, and you can use subsonic rounds. Even the subsonic rounds by themselves in your regular rifle will help mitigate the sound greatly. And again, if you're in an urban setting where sound can bounce off your different buildings and stuff and reverberate around, they might be able to triangulate in on where you're at exactly anyway. So between those little aspects, I feel pretty comfortable all in all that I could kill some zombies outside my window and help clear the area without making a whole lot of extra racket. People, stomping up and down the stairs are probably going to be louder than shooting those subsonic rounds. Now they are subsonic, so that means that the zombie does need to be a little closer in order to still be able to penetrate the skull and into the brain. So you are looking at a lighter load, so they do need to be a little bit closer. That also means that the bullet is going to drop faster than you're accustomed to with your normal 22 rounds. So it's a good idea to go out if you're gonna use subsonic rounds. Is to go out and shoot a few, see where they line up on what your existing sights are, because if they're not your primary ammunition, you want to see where they fall, and remember that for future reference. And you can just use good old-fashioned Kentucky windage to drop the rounds into the zombie heads. So all in all, 22 rounds can kill zombies, and subsonic ones would just need to be a little bit closer. I wouldn't trust killing a zombie at 100 yards with a subsonic round. 50 yards and less, sure, but anything pushing 50 yards, I might be a little bit more squidgy about in the long haul. But in normal settings, 50 yards should be sufficient in order to kill some zombies. Again, this is Shaun of the Dead. As always, check out what I found. You can see the plethora of AR ammo. You can see the plethora of 9mm ammo. And then they only had about 6 or 8 of these on the shelf. They were like $7 100, so it was a little steep on price. But again, I was just looking for something to shoot that was quiet to kill zombies. So yeah, that was it. That's the only reason I have them. So I'll probably will never use them. They'll just sit in in my stash pile of ammunition and probably never ever get used, because I don't need to shoot anything silent. So outside of shooting zombies silently, I don't need to shoot anything silent. So, but I have them just in case. So again, check out the next little tag on, and you can see for yourself how much AR ammo and how much 9mm ammo I actually did find. And then I did find like another at Walmart. I found it was about another 10 rounds, so about 1,000 rounds in total, because there are 100 round boxes of Winchester white box, and you're allowed to buy 3 boxes at a time. $26 and change a box. So you're looking at roughly $12.50 thereabouts per box, which is not bad. Brass casings. So there you go. You can still find things that you want to find. Just got to go out and look. Don't be a schlub. Use some common sense. Go out and try to find some stuff, and don't pay exuberant prices. So again, the Shaun of the Dead. Thanks again for watching. I just wanted to add this little PS on there so you can get a quick little note on some of the ammo that you can still find. The PDX rounds and the Winchester white box was all at Walmart. Everything else was at Academy. Just picked it right on up. No limit at Academy unless it's on the 22, and there was a limit of 2 boxes. So that's it. Thanks again, and as always, subscribe. This is a follow-up to the History Channel's Gun Guy. Look at all this 9mm here. 800 round boxes. 9mm. And this is coming from somebody that says, oh, you can't find 9mm anywhere. It's going to be hard to find. This is the ammo 223 5.56. Yeah. That's going to also be very difficult to find, so, according to the guy. And this shows how easy it is to actually find. Not to mention the AK ammo.